Hey, my name is Jay Martin. Thanks for watching. I'm going to do another of little case study videos. I'm going to show you a portion of a game. I'm not going to show you the entire game, but I'm going to show you a part of it and talk about one thing in particular. What I want to talk about in this video is disruption. And what I mean by disruption is that when you're in melee with the other guy, his units can't shoot back. So if you can create disruption in his line, so his line can't fire at you, but your line is firing at him, that's a great way to gain advantage in the game. And we could follow this road down into some tactical questions of how to use cav and everything, but I don't want to go there because everybody makes videos about that. And what I want to stay focused on is the bigger picture aspect of the concept of disruption and what that really means. And I think that a lot of people talk about this, but kind of in a more small tactical sense, and I want to try to keep it big. What you have here, this is a 3v3 game. That's me way over there. Hey! In the center is Mahakaz Austria, and the Prussian is BuzzFuzz, and I don't recall who we're playing against. But in these, one other thing. In these 3v3 on grassy games, winning the light infantry battle is really powerful. If you can kill all of their light infantry, then they have a serious problem, especially if their if their army is based around having 5 light infantry. If your opponent doesn't have light infantry, then you need to pick another tactic. But in this game, it's obviously both armies are centered around their lights, and so killing these lights is very important. So the task for our team then is we have to kill these lights. And so what Buzz is going to do, with some help from Maha here, is a great example of how to create disruption in the opponent's lights. So what Buzz has is a militia in front, and he has an equal number of lights behind him to the GB guy. And right here comes Buzz's cav charge. 2 lancers coming from the side. Notice all of the volleys, 4 volleys go into the Landor right there. And Buzz's lights continue to advance. There is a countercharge here from the British guy. Buzz gets first shot on the actual light units. And the real part that I think is important, the disruption part, is going to happen right here when Buzz's lancers get in there first. Now, we talk a lot about he who gets their lights in, or their cav in first wins, and this is exactly what we mean. Buzz does take 1 volley there, but you notice the mistake is made here. These 2 infantry units are moving. While they're moving, they're not shooting. And right now, Buzz has created localized fire advantage, because Buzz has 2 cav units trotting around this guy's lights, which aren't shooting back. And Buzz's line behind that you can't see is going to take out this cav. And then Maha from his side sends in another cav unit to disrupt on this side. And I thought that this was a really good example of how to win the light infantry game on the flank of grassy. Because you're going to watch see, there goes the first light, there goes the cav, and Buzz is back shooting. Buzz still has 2 cav floating around there. He's still shooting. Maha's cav come in. And that's it. And you can see that this British guy is getting absolutely destroyed. Just getting absolutely destroyed. And I thought this is a really good example of creating disruption in the big picture sense. Not in the tactical, well, he charges cav. Well, no shit, we know he charges cav. But what Buzz was able to do with his cav was make sure that the other guy wasn't shooting back. And that's the really important part. And maybe that's why he who gets his cav in first wins. And Maha is able to actually pull his lancer out with 40. They only took 1 casualty. Buzz keeps his cav in there just to make sure that this guy's having a bad day. And this guy starts to withdraw, which is what he has to do. And at this point, the game is won. I mean, let's pause. I mean, this game is won because Buzz is easily going to be able to win his flank now. Each of these 4 lights, or these 3 lights that are still left, are going to rout at the next volley. And that one's going to take 2 volleys. But Buzz still has 82, 82, 60, 78, and 90. So Buzz has about twice as many, people in his light infantry unit shooting than the GB guy does left, and all Buzz traded for was 2 of his cav units, and in the course of that he wrecked 1 of the GB cavs. So I think this was a really good example of getting your cav in. Now, we might say tactically that the GB guy should have had his line close to his lights. That is true, but this is a really good example of smelling opportunities and take them. Buzz is one of the best aggressive players I know. He's super aggressive, and that early cav movement is exactly what I would expect from a player like him. That's just what he's good at. That's what he does a lot. And good teamwork from the center from Maha to get cav in as well to disrupt the other side of those lights. So I thought that this is a really good example of just creating disruption in the opponent's line and you take it away. If you're shooting and he's not, then that's good. What the price you pay for that depends whether or not it's a success. In this case, Buzz paid 2 cav, and I think that was really, really successful, especially given the tactical importance of light infantry on this map. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is take a little pause, and I want to give you another example of this disruption concept, but on the other flank. Okay, this is the other flank in the same game. That's what you were just watching. I zoomed over to the right. And this is my army here. I'm playing Ottoman, who I think are quite good on 3v3s, especially in the flank. And what I have are 2 militia and then 6 line behind them, and I have 6 melee infantry. And my mission, again, is to disrupt this guy. Now, a lot of people don't play Ottoman because they honestly don't know how do you handle charging into lights. This guy has double line. He has 4 lights in front and then a bunch of line. There's foot guards over on this flank, I believe. Yeah, there's 3 foot guards. So how do you handle that? Well, create a lot of disruption. And what I like about the Ottomans is that they're very, very good about that, because you can send a melee unit in to get them caught in melee. They can't shoot back, while your infantry can shoot. And so you're going to watch me, and I'm going to push an attack here up on the right. I don't do this perfectly. I do make a couple mistakes. I'm probably not going to bother mentioning them because they're kind of micro problems. But again, I just want to highlight the big picture importance of what creating a lot of disruption can do, and nobody's better at that than Ottomans. Again, the meat shield works. I'm not really sure if this guy should have turned fire at will off. I mean, he has to kill the militia at some point, so, you know, whatever. What he does do is debatable. The right thing, he starts to kite his lights back. You know, maybe the right thing, maybe the wrong thing, I don't know. But that's what he does. It's probably the right thing to do against an Ottoman player. And I'm going to get a little help from Maha here. The real tricky part about making this kind of assault is timing. There goes Zavala against his lights. It's really underwhelming, frankly. And I think he's going to retreat again. Okay, so here we go. Here comes the attack. And there are 3 foot guards here, backed up by some lanceros. And here comes the attack, and we're still running. It's really important when your opponent's kiting away from you like this that you run as quick as possible, because what I can probably do is catch him with fire at will turned on, and his lights will shoot himself in the back. So whenever somebody kites their lights behind their line, you want to get up there in range of the lights so the lights will automatically fire against their own line. Okay, so here comes the assault. Maha leads it off with an assault. That was a little bit of a pathfinding bug because he ran into a volley from that foot guard. But what he's going to do is charge in there, and that's going to engage that guy melee. He actually catches this guy at a square, and Maha's going to get in there, and you're going to watch like a 3-pronged attack. The initial disruption from Maha's cav, secondary disruption from my melee that are coming in now, and my line are going to be shooting at his guards the whole time. Again, we got our cav in first. Created all kinds of havoc in this guy's line. He should have squared. We all know that. But even if he squares, it doesn't get any better for him, right? Because I still got a bunch of lines shooting at his guys in square. He can't return firepower. And my melee guys are coming in next. Now, Maha continues to charge all the way across the line. I should be advancing right here, but I'm not. And I think maybe I should have put more melee troops in to this part of the battle. But what you got, and let's just take a minute and look, you know, if you're looking at this guy, he is in complete disarray. Like, he has no idea what's going on the left side of his army. And you can see he's just now starting to put that side of his army into square. Okay, so let's watch from this guy's perspective. He has no idea what he's supposed to do. And here comes our second wave of cav. That's my cav coming in. Still have melee guys in there. And the whole time I'm shooting at him. I mean, this is the name of the game. Like, if you want to attack successfully, you can't dick around, man. If you want to attack successfully, you attack, right? And you get in there and you just cause all kinds of fucking problems for people. And that's what we're doing. And, you know, that's the name of the game. I mean, you get in there and you disrupt them. This guy has no ability to control his army right now. There is no worse feeling than just being completely overwhelmed right here. It doesn't matter how fast your micro is. Nobody's micro, if you're stuck in this position, can handle this. Because he's engaged. He's got foot guards engaged in melee all over the place. He, like, emergency rallies because we have cav into his general. And yeah, look at this. His line can't shoot because they're caught. Are we in square? Are we not in the square? And in the meantime, I've now broken a bunch of cav into this guy's rear, right? I mean, it's not going well. and you create a lot of disruption, confusion. I don't know. What do you want to call it? What do you want to call it? What's the concept here? But the ability just to get in and create all kinds of havoc, right? That's the name of the game. Create the havoc. And he has nowhere to go. He has nowhere to run. He's going to try pushing reserve Lancers through. They're not going to get terribly far. And the worst part for this guy is it's not going to get any better because I still have 2 really upgraded Janissaries. I've just thrown bazooks in at this point. These aren't even my good shooters or my good melee troops, right? So, you know, if you want to attack successfully, then cause a lot of disruption. You know, you can't do this bullshit. I see people like 1 cav unit here, 1 cav unit there, advance 1 line there. You can't do that. You got to attack as a group. And you want to take initiative, cause disruption, whatever you want to call it, whatever this concept is that I'm getting at. But don't think about the tactics of, okay, cav now, cav then, whatever, cav. Don't worry about the tactics of it. Just think, I need to get in there and cause overwhelming disruption on this guy. And that's why it's generally always a bad idea just to walk line up into line. You got to have a little trick going for you. You got to put cav in there first. You got to have melee guys to go in there. You got to have something interesting to make your attack successful. And now that his foot guards are gone, that's the end of it, right? So anyway, that was a game we played, and I thought this concept had been floating in my mind a little bit, and I've kind of been looking for a game to demonstrate with that. But you know, disrupt your opponent. You know, if you're dictating the pace of the game, then you're probably winning. It takes a really good defensive player, a really good kiter, to withstand that. And most people can't handle it. You know, you have to have a good plan. The other real strength of this type of play, or this cause a lot of disruption style play, is that if you're making your opponent react to you, then they don't know what to do. A lot of players kind of have a plan in mind. Well, if you take them out of their plan, then they get confused, and you notice that their quality of play suffers. I notice that my quality of play suffers when my opponents take initiative away from me. So that's something to think about. That's something you really got to do. And anyway, thanks for watching. My name is Jay Martin. Bye.